Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name is Adam Vale, senior editor over at thecoalition.com.
And my name is Lawrence, aka a punk with toys on all the social medias. You may also know me as the guy that did the Maximum Hulk review and didn't know how to turn the bicep.
That's for biceps, big Hulk smash, strong.
Everyone watching I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm a toy reviewer. Someone actually said, I can't believe this guy calls himself a toy reviewer. That really hurt my feelings.
It hurts. It hurts. And then they give you a thumbs up right afterwards. They punch you and then they hug you.
That has the most thumbs down of any video that I've done.
Awesome. See, that's it. You're connecting with the community.
You know,
good or bad.
You know, again, that is talking about my other channel. But if you give someone a thumbs down on YouTube, you're still showing engagement. You're just hate watching. But YouTube goes, hey, there's still engagement on this. So do what you like. It still helps out.
Well, there you go, right? That's what it's all about, the engagement. And thanks for the engagement, because we've been getting a lot of comments over here on the TV Terminal, especially from Murderbot. Shout out for everyone that has been watching our review, our coverage, particularly all the people that are fans of the book series, because we're getting a lot of that. A lot of people that follow the books, read the books, are tuning in, and they're just seeing how two people that are not familiar with the books and who have openly said, we have not read these books, cover this show. And what was the first one? What was it? Tina, we're sorry. You're right. It's not SecBot. Sec unit. We'll remember that one. Because at first we weren't even calling it that. We were also calling it Murderbot. And then it was like, well, no, it's technically not. That's what he calls himself. But everyone else in this world calls him a sec unit because that's what he is.
Yeah. So I know Adam said, I don't remember us calling it SecBot. I know for a fact that I did numerous times. And then I realized that he refers to himself as Murderbot, and he's the sec unit. And I kind of I didn't address it because I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But obviously people will catch you on stuff, and it's perfectly fine. And I try not to. I'm sure you'll still hear me say SecBot. I will try not to. But like I said, I'm a toy reviewer, mostly of G.I. Joe. I used to make the mistake of calling a magazine a clip, and it really, really, really bothers some people.
Well, also on this show, if I'm not mistaken, he's only called himself Murderbot once, and that was in the first episode.
He did today,
right? He called himself Murderbot.
He's referred to as Murderbot again. I believe he referred himself as Murderbot today. And this episode.
Today,
guys.
Maybe he did. Oh boy.
I swear I heard him say it because I went, oh, he is referring to himself as Murderbot.
Okay. Well, he hasn't told anybody. He hasn't said it.
No,
so yeah. All right. So he refers to himself. All right. So that's cool. It motivates him, I guess. You know, puts him in the zone.
I don't know why. He doesn't seem that there was a good bot. He seems like he should be called TV Bot, because that's all he wants to
the Sanctuary Moon. We all need Sanctuary Moon in our life. I want to watch this show, you know. But yeah, real quick before we go any further, just thanks again for everybody. We were just talking about that. Everybody that's commenting and liking and subscribing and on all the platforms, but particularly here on YouTube. It's great. This is a new channel. We're constantly growing. We're adding new content, covering other shows. Just finished The Last of Us. We're heading into the last episode of season 1 for Mobland, which is a fantastic show. Love that show.
Good. If you're not watching it, go watch it. Then watch our shows. And if you choose not to watch the shows, watch Mobland, because it's great.
Yeah, look, it's a great show. It's a great show.
This show is so captivating that Roman came in here so he could he heard us starting to talk about it. He's like, all right, I got to hear the recap of Murderbot.
Right. This is that. Right. He connects.
But before we get into everything, please, if you like this, what we're doing, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because it helps out more than you know, because it really does tell YouTube people are enjoying this, and it gets pushed out to more people. And we want people that want to watch this show. You don't
Yeah,
just want the, the casual person that, hey, I'm just going to like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it helps. But we want people with engagement, because that's what YouTube is looking for, and that's what we're looking for.
and that's why we also reply to the comments and stuff. You
Yeah.
go ahead, join in, say something, whether we got something right, wrong, or you want to sprinkle in a little more info, because not everything is explained fully up front, which we will start right now. So this is for Murderbot Season 1, Episode 4, Escape Velocity Protocol. What is that? What is that?
So I would say most of the shows that we have done, going to Reacher, to Mobland, to the first 3 episodes of this, I can't speak for The Last of Us, but almost every episode, whatever the name of it is, it usually comes up at some point in the show. I don't remember anything about Escape Velocity Protocol. It kind of makes sense what it's talking about, but
I want to think that it was probably something that was said in Sanctuary Moon
wait a minute.
during one of those things.
He refers to the protocol. Does he ever refer to it as the Velocity Protocol? Because that's what the guys.
He talked about the override module that's being put on him, but for the protocol, I don't know. There we go. There's the first one, people. If you know, if they did address it, we missed that one. But we do. Well,
I kind of wrote down what I thought he said he was doing. No,
I don't know.
It's a combat control. That's what he's trying to put in there. So,
well, that's what it was a combat override module. Yeah, but it doesn't say anything about the velocity protocol. Like, that's why I'm thinking it has something to do with Sanctuary Moon, because he was jumping back and forth. But we'll get into it. It starts off. Was it
last thing before we do start off? At least for this episode, we will be referring to him as Murderbot, and the other unit, the sect unit, because it's going to be kind of confusing. Saying, hey, sect unit is firing on sect unit or fighting sect unit. So we'll refer to him as Murderbot. And then the other one will be, did I say it right? He's Murderbot.
No, the other one or I called him also evil sec unit. I didn't know what else to say. He doesn't ever really address it. We just know that we'll get into it, because there's some parts where they sort of mention it, but I think they mention it in just joking around. But it starts off with threshold pass, right? This is the fabrication center.
Yep.
Over for the corporation ring at that location. Now, at first we weren't sure. We thought maybe this was going to be some kind of flashback or something for Murderbot, but it's not. This is what indentured. There's people that are sent to these factories but why? Like, what did they not pay their debts? Is this a penal colony type of thing? And it's like, I'm
willing to bet in the book they explain it more, because
so
definitely. They don't really express, and I don't think it really matters, but I do have to say I really enjoyed seeing how these sect units are made. Not so much the indentured servitude point of it, but just like they're making these by hand. They're meant to look like people. They even address why do they have individual faces?
Well, that's what I was getting at. Like, one of the humans was like joking that says, well, because they go rogue all the time, and that way they can tell them apart.
Yep.
But then if you think about it, it's like, that makes sense. Maybe it's not a joke.
Yeah. But then we also see that there's a lot of glitching going on in this factory. And they said, they really need to get all the bugs out of it. They're not going to do that. They just want to push these out. But it's very interesting to see how they're doing it. And it was very creepy seeing what I think 3 different arms, all different skin tones. And they don't look like they're like rubber arms. They look like they're real arms sitting right there. So very unique.
Was it one of the the servant says she's there for 6 years. The other guy was like, I'm here for 20 or something like that.
He
I
said
was like,
he
that
says I
he said
have
20.
6 years left, and she goes, I'm on year 12 of 20. And he goes, "You're not gonna make it out of here."
Oh man,
But it sounds
that
like they
brings
get
me.
to go home because they're talking
I
about watching what she's
Yeah,
talking about,
Sanctuary Moon. Yeah,
watching Sanctuary Moon.
that's interesting. So yeah, do they get to go home or do they get to go to rest? Which brings me to Ready Player One. Did you ever watch that movie or read the book?
That's the one with Miles Teller, right?
You maybe, I don't know.
Where they
Maybe it's Steven Spielberg. He did that one, and
Yes, and
it
there's a
was
Back
great.
to the
Oh,
Future card and everything.
yeah. And
Yeah.
now the same thing. It's like people would spend all this money on all this gear, and sometimes they would lose the money within the Oasis, and so then they would have to pay their debts. And in order to do that, they would become these servants. They would go in, put the helmet on, and have to do all this virtual mining. And they were fulfillment centers, is what they were
Yeah.
called, and they would be tied to this. And one of the main characters,
That
she was
was
trying to free things up because her dad was in one of those and then got sick, but he couldn't afford any medication or any of that stuff, and then he eventually died, and he still owed them a lot of money.
Ready Player One was a really good movie.
Oh yeah.
It was very entertaining. It hit a lot of I know we're off topic once again. Shocker. It hit a lot of things that I really enjoyed, like a lot of nostalgia, but it wasn't about nostalgia per se. It was just stuff that was in video games and in pop culture.
Yeah, no, what was it? I listened to the audiobook and it really goes into it. It goes into a lot of the old movies that we grew up with, Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club, all of those. And it was really cool. It was really cool. They made a second one.
Did they make one? I
And
know they were
yeah,
supposed to.
they did yeah, it's Ready Player 2. And it's an
Oh,
audio book and there's a regular book. And I think Steven Spielberg already agreed that he would do
yeah.
that
Okay.
if they
That's
want
what
to
I meant.
convert.
They haven't done a movie yet.
No, they haven't done the movie
I
yet.
think they agreed to do it, or
Yeah.
or in the
Pretty
works.
yeah, it's a little different. It's a little darker. It's basically what happens when you have everything. How do you react? I mean, it's what we wanted to see from if they ever did a Willy Wonka, like the Gene Wilder, but after they give everything to Charlie. Does he continue with the positive attitude? Yeah, I'm a happy kid. Let me love my parents. Or does all this money,
No, he probably
fame,
got sick of
power?
freeloaders like his grandfather, the
There
biggest
you
freeloader of
go.
all.
And he locked them up and let the Oompa Loompas kick his ass. That's what they did. He
You
just
know,
beat him with
grandpa doesn't
sticks.
help out with his daughter. He sits in that stupid bed with the other
Oh my
grandparents.
lord!
But the
They
moment Charlie gets that
oh,
golden ticket, he jumps out of bed.
he
His legs
pops
work
out like
great.
Pinocchio. Oh, yeah,
That is
you're right.
that's a true freeloader right there. Anyway,
Oh man, right? Get a job. Help out your daughter. You got 4 people sleeping on one bed. Who changes the sheets? Oh god.
wasn't
It's like
grandpa, I'll tell you that much.
the smell in that room. Oh man, it's like who farted? I'm like, who did it? I mean, we're all in this bed together. I want alone time with my wife. What do you have to do? Roll over, don't look. Oh,
Just roll over, you get your own set of sheets or
oh,
put a pillow
oh
between. All right.
man. Oh man,
All
cheer
right.
up,
So anyway,
Charlie. Things will get better. All right.
anyway,
So anyway,
we see the factory of these sect units being made.
yeah.
I find it very interesting, and the stuff they're talking. But then we see the one guy at the end talking about how I kick your ass, and then we realize he's actually speaking to our Murderbot.
Mm-hmm. Now, we hear Murderbot come up with his own little dialogue about like, "Oh, these dumb humans." I think he's saying that after the fact. I don't think he's alert at that
No, yeah,
moment,
I don't
just
think he's
ahead,
alert
right?
there.
But he can remember this.
If he's activated, it's
Uh,
hard to say. I
yeah,
was
that's what I'm
waiting to
saying,
see
man.
when he said I'd kick your ass. I was waiting to see like if maybe there'd be a twitch in the eye, but there wasn't.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
looked
No,
like he
no,
was like
no.
maybe in well, were they in
Mhm.
some sort of liquid, or maybe it was just how the glass was. I don't know,
They're
but
doing the molding. Maybe they're doing
yeah,
molding and something. The guy get the neck pegs right. You know how toys are, man. It's just like it's no different. They get the peg,
all,
and
all
then
too
that's it.
well.
And they boot the connectors, and there you go. He's good to go. But yeah,
So
then we get a cool intro, him floating in space. I really do like this intro. I like all of
I
it.
do too.
Just
It's very interesting.
All right, so let's see. What are we up to now? We get to the part now where we just see Murderbot. Right, he is pretty much being carried around by the evil sec unit.
He is
Right, so
being
let's
pulled by the evil sec
yeah.
unit. And he's trying to watch TV. Like that's all he wants to
Yeah.
do. Like
Well, it was it that, or was he said his systems were malfunctioning, and it's
yeah.
pretty much played the whole intro with theme song, which give him credit for the show. They created a theme song for Sanctuary Moon, and it's all glitching out like
Yeah.
and we're hearing the song.
He's trying to focus because he talks about the pain.
Mhm.
He can't turn off his pain thing, so he's basically trying to focus on other things. But we do see it constantly glitching out.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was pretty messy, and he's still trying to figure out why hasn't this thing killed him yet.
Yeah,
And he couldn't figure it out. And while this whole thing's happening, we could jump to what's going on outside, or we can just stick what's happening in here. But during this part, why not? We'll just stick with the
well,
pattern here.
yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, we have
Mhm. Rothy.
Mensa who won't go back. So she won't go back, and because Pin Lee is saying, "Hey, I don't know where she's at." She ordered me back, and she ends up running back to find her. And she basically admits, "Hey, I'm scared," you know.
Yeah.
And that Mensa, right? Am I saying her name right?
Yeah, no, Mensa and Penley.
Yeah.
It's Penley.
So
But
yeah, she's pretty much
go
saying,
ahead.
"I'm scared," but then she orders her to go back, and Pinley does because it was in the
She's the
script.
Yeah, it's in the script, and she's the boss. So Mensa's like, "Hey, just go back. I'm gonna stay." Penley's not thrilled about this. But again, this goes back to how Mensa kept talking about wanting to bring Murderbot into the fold as a crew member. I wish I mean, they're not going to do it, but I see her as someone who probably grew up. I'm just in my own mind, grew up watching, TNG, Star Trek Next Generation, and it's like Data. I have my own Data now here. I want to bring my Data into the fold, and that's it. And this is a sign right here because we saw in the last episode, Murderbot told Mensa and Penley, "Get out of here, go, just get back on the hopper." To forget about me. But she won't do it. She feels like, no, I have to help.
You're you kind of comparing it to Picard and Data is dead on, I think, because they see Data as part of the crew and they wouldn't have left him, and that's kind of where she's starting to become. And we've also seen Rathy kind of feels the same way, right? Like he's kind of the same way. Like he wants to befriend this thing.
Yeah, he wants to be friends. He doesn't know how to use a gun. There's a lot of things. He's doing a lot of growing in this episode as a person. So all right. So let's see. What do we get off to here? So then all right, what do we bring it up? If you're bringing something up, I'll just bring it up here. All right, with the sec unit, now he's back. We see we're Murderbot, sec unit. He's trying to figure out what's happening, and he's like, I have to come up with something.
Yeah, so I like this because first off, the sec unit throws the Murderbot up on and he just falls off on the other side. So I like on TV shows, movies, when you see things that are realistic, right? He throws him up there, he just kind of rolls right over. That's how what like real life would be. I hate movies and TVs because guess what? There's never two Daves. Everyone always has separate names. That's not real life. No one ever skips. No one ever stutters. A matter of fact, you should know this. Robert Kirkman with The Walking Dead, he said, "I hate that movies and TV shows and comic books never have someone with the same name, unless it's Martha, right? Then we all went, oh my God, I never noticed that Batman and Superman's mom have the same name."
The same name. Oh no. Well, my gripe especially with The Walking Dead, is everyone looked clean. I don't like people clean. I don't like to see perfectly white teeth. You should be all dirty and grimy. You've been living a hard life. No, everything should be filled with dirt. I want everyone to put their
That's a
hands in the
whole
ground
nother.
and rub their
That's a
face.
whole nother
And
topic right there.
that's a whole other thing. All right, but let's show you, like you said, tossing him around, but he's trying to buy time. He's trying to figure out
Yes.
because he's waiting for his sensors to come back online. And he's like, you know what? I got an idea. And he starts singing the Sanctuary Moon theme song. And as we started singing along, we're like, on the moon, on the moon. We're all excited. And then that gives him time because Evil Sec Unit just freaks out, doesn't know how to respond to this. For a second, though, I thought maybe this wasn't an Evil Sec Unit and maybe this was a real person just with an outfit on. But, like
I
a
kind of
snake
got that
eyes or
idea
something.
because it kind of reminds me of Tron, like the later
You could
Trons.
go with that. Oh, yeah, the new one with the Tron. Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw that in theaters. I regret that. That was a bad decision. But
Which
I
one?
did go see it. The new one, the remake. Not that new. Was it 2009? I think that's what that one was.
You mean the one where he gets sucked into it? I love that movie.
You like the original one or the remake?
Well, it wasn't the remake. It's his son
They
going in. Now they have another one coming out.
Oh my god! Then I saw that as all right. No. I like the original one. The original one was great. I like that one.
Oh, I
But,
love the new one. They had a wonderful story.
I like the special effects. That cycle, man. I went to see it at a movie theater at Lowe's, and they had the cycle on display, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!" I mean, it was full size. I was like, "Can you get on it?" I was like, "No, you can't get on it." Then why you put this here? I was like, "I want to take pictures of me on it. I want to with my
Go to
hands
Disney
up,
World. They
and put
have
my
it there.
leg
You
up."
can ride the roller coaster.
All right. I'll go there we go. Hey, you know what? I'll send it. Yeah, I'll do that. If they let me, then I want to take a picture with it.
So anyway, he starts singing, and then he's like, "That's enough time," and then he starts fighting with them.
Mhm.
Now, in the last episode, he had already mentioned, like, I really don't stand a chance against this thing. But he also knows
Yeah,
what he's trying to
infinite
do.
level.
Yeah, he's trying to put this protocol of what I call it again, the combat control into his neck.
The combat override module.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. And this thing is trying to put that on him. And he says, once that happens, it's over. It's going to be within a few minutes, and then he could do whatever he wants with him.
And we see the struggle that he has once it gets put in. So anyway, they continue to fight about everything, and then eventually he just slaps him with it. Because he just overpowers him. He's a better unit than the Murderbot. And as he's waiting for everything to happen, we see the big drill come through.
Oh, that was cool.
It was, and that's one of the lightest drills ever, I think. But
yeah, I mean, hey, I don't know. Who knows what kind of material it's made out of, but it got the job done. And she did it. Mensa came to save the day. She just drilled right in him. And at this point, Murderbot, he's just rambling. He wants to thank her. He wants to, but he's still like, "What are you here? Leave. This is this is against protocol." And well, he doesn't say velocity. He doesn't mention protocol. But he starts talking about this whole thing. He's just rambling, and then at the same time, he knows that he's rambling.
Yes,
that's the other thing.
He knows
it's like
everything he's doing. But he
Mhm.
doesn't. But he doesn't know why he's doing it.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to stop it. The other thing that I don't know, maybe you didn't think about this. I totally thought about it. I'm like, they know they regenerate. They don't need to go in a stasis, but they regenerate. So I didn't see how they would have thought this would have killed it. I would have been going full force onto that thing.
Well, I don't know if Mensa knows that about this Jeff unit. She just killed this thing. Well, she thinks she did. She doesn't know. Because remember when Murderbot got hurt before from the big worm attack, they had to send him to the little med system over there, and they had to fabricate tissue.
Yeah, but he had a big hunk taken out of him, and he cauterized. Oh, not, I don't think he technically cauterized stuff, but he turned off certain circuits. This is a more advanced unit. You would think. I mean, that's what I thought right away. So,
yeah.
But
he was a mess. His voice box is rambling. He can't do anything. So,
and we see him try and take it out, and he can't get to it. Like the protocol stops him from doing it. Not the
That's the other
velocity
thing.
protocol. We don't know
No,
what
no,
that is.
no. The override
Yeah.
module that's stuck on him, and he knows it's just a matter of time that it's going to overwrite. But he doesn't really know what it's going to do, but it's going to have control. But here's the thing that I was thinking about, and go ahead, people in the comments, if you feel the same way, whether you just know the show or the books. Once that evil sec unit was taken down, let's say it died, doesn't that void out the override module? Because who's going to dish out the commands
Well, that's
over
the whole.
the override module?
It sounds like he doesn't know who's
No,
doing
he
it.
doesn't.
But I'm also starting to wonder because when we watch the beginning of the episode, when we see the opening, there's a whole bunch of those black units coming down.
Yeah.
Are we going to see more?
He did mention something about when they screw up, when the humans screw up, and they make some. What was it? What was the word that he used? It wasn't depressed. He was like mentally unstable or something like
Yeah.
that. And it just makes you wonder. Maybe are the evil units, the black sec unit models or whatever, the other models, are those defective in some way, or are those set to be programmed for certain jobs? So like, oh, we can't put them around regular people. These are just for wartime situations, just
Yeah.
frontline combat. Because
I think they're just a newer unit. I think they're just a newer unit, or maybe again. Remember, they chose to buy this one because it was cheaper.
No, I get it. You're right. Yeah, you know what? That's it. Because I was just gonna say, I was like, well, newer or not doesn't make sense, because in the same scene, that's when we see his head, our Murderbot, being built. So he's being built at the same time. But like you just pointed out, different tiers, right? Different pricing, and this sec unit is in the bargain bin. He's on
And
sale.
they had to have one to be bonded, and he was a refurbished one.
He was
refurbished. So,
uh-huh.
So as that's all happening, we see Pin Lee come back to the ship,
The hopper. Yep, the hopper.
and they're basically saying, well, where's Mensa? And she ordered me. And this is where you start realizing, like, there technically isn't anyone in charge when they're on the
There's no
ground.
second in command. Well, yeah, you're right. I would think it's Penley because of just how she's close with Mensa, and even for this away mission. But then they said that the away missions are voluntary. Anybody could sign in and join in that whole thing, and that's how they like it. They don't like to play the hierarchy type of system. But yeah, you're right. They were sort of clueless. They didn't know what to do next.
Yeah, but Mensa's clearly taken over. Like not taken over, but she's taking command of everything. And she seems like she should be the one in charge, because other than her kind of feelings for the Murderbot, I don't mean in a sexual way. I just mean like she has these weird feelings. And I have a feeling, and I'm hoping that we'll find out in the upcoming episodes why. Like, what is it that she is so attracted to this? And I don't mean in a sexual way.
No, I get it. I think she's just nurturing, because then
She has like 84 kids.
Yeah, she's got a bunch of kids. I mean, you can't have a cold heart and be a Mr. Scrooge and have so many kids. And she is the expedition leader.
Yeah.
So I think it's a combination of the two. It's like, all right, she's the expedition leader. She feels that she's responsible for all of the crew, including the sec unit, and that nurturing part of her is also applying to this. It's like, you know what? I have to help. He's in danger. And so she goes to help. But yeah, who's second in command? Right now, it looks like it's a three-way tie with everyone that's on the hopper, because they're like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Rafi doesn't know how to use a gun. Rafi, I should say, use a gun. But he still grabs a weapon anyway, says, I'm going to do this. He starts waving it around. He's scaring, Arata and Pinley.
That was hilarious, because they really did the whole, again, we don't know the timeline of where this is, when it is, if it's in our universe or whatever. Maybe others do, I don't know. But you're not getting the, like, and they actually address the whole macho-ness, they don't really like it, but he has no ability to hold a weapon. And normally you think, hey, you know what, the guys are the ones that hold the weapons. And before anyone gets mad at us, I'm just saying, over time, that's how it's usually perceived. He has no idea. He's kind of pointing at him. He has it upside down.
Oh man, now that was too far. I saw that. I'm like, come on, now you're just pulling it. There's no way you're not that bad. Because remember, that everyone was it Arata said that she had her training from video games, right?
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. She played a bunch of video games, and she felt that's enough. And hey, it could be, could be. But
But I did find this. I found this very interesting, and I thought there's a lot of good chemistry between the three of them. All right.
yeah.
In more
Very
ways
well
than
acted.
one. In more
Yeah,
ways than
very
one,
well-
there's a lot of good
Yeah.
chemistry with
A
them.
lot of good chemistry, and that comes up in the next scene about the whole contract situation if something happens to Rothy, right?
Well,
But
as he leaves, she's like, I don't really enjoy this macho-ness of him.
Well, I don't know if it's a macho. I think it's more of he cares about people. He cares about
think that's
Mensa,
what
and he definitely cares about Murderbot, and
because
he knows
he's the
something
other
is
one
wrong.
that has a affinity for the Murderbot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if he goes after him, has no idea how to use a weapon, and then we hear Pinley and Arata talking about their contract. Pinley doesn't find it very attractive, but I think Arata does more than anything because at the beginning we hear what was it that Arata likes Rathy likes Pinley, but Pinley is already married to Arata, and that's all really she has. So it's a really weird threesome, a really strange throuple that they have going on.
And the contract, from what I was told over in the comment section in the books, it's described as that's their way of like a license, a marriage license.
Yeah.
Like they're a couple, all three of them. So they're in a relationship. So they were wondering what happens to him, and they're like that gets voided out. Contract's voided out if he doesn't.
I heard next season is really about after Rothy gets killed, and then they'll start looking into the life insurance policy that they took out right after he got married.
All right, we could do that. Do they bring in someone? Oh, yeah, they bring in some other.
It's called Fatal Attraction Bot.
Fatal Attraction Bot off of Sanctuary Moon. There we go. It's like a spin-off of a spin-off. Oh man. But we do get we go back to Murderbot and Mensa, and there she's trying to help him, and he realizes he's trying to, but he's still mumbling all this stuff. But then he just throws himself into Sanctuary Moon.
But I want to say, like, this whole time of him trying to tell Mensa what's going on, there's something I had to tell her. Why can't I remember what it is? He's stumbling over his words. I thought it was done really well. I mean, that cannot, in my opinion, I don't think that could be an easy act because, like, he has to figure all this stuff out, how to explain everything. And I think they did a really good job showing off him as again, he's not human. So the guy has to act as a robot, but also with humanoid tendencies. So
and you know what? Maybe it's for the best that he didn't. Because if he did, what was he going to say? He wasn't going to tell her, oh, there's this thing on my back. You got to pull this off. No, he feels at this point it's a little bit too late. I think he would have told her, leave, give me your weapon, or whatever she had. I don't think she had anything after that. And then kill himself. Because
if he would have got it off in time, it would have downloaded what it wants him to do. It would have taken over.
Yeah.
That's what he kept doing it because we'll get into it at the end when he finally gets it off and he destroys it. He says, but it's already downloaded. But
Sanctuary Moon. He jumps into the Sanctuary Moon, and I found that funny because while he's playing as a character there, he doesn't know what to do as that character.
Yes.
So the other characters say, you got to do something. It had something to do with the wormhole. Something is coming through. And I think it was a combination of him throwing himself into this show because all his memories are getting mumbo jumboed. But at the same time, it's mixing in reality because what we see coming through is the evil Secunit.
Yeah.
Right? right? And that's one of the things that we did see, that while they're trying to get through, they hear this noise in the background. Evil Sec Unit is not dead, and he's getting up. Might as
Yeah.
well cue the Terminator music. Doo-dum,
But I love the
doo-dum.
fact that it was a mix of the people from Sanctuary Moon and Mensa also in there. So he's mixing not only himself into
Yeah, he threw
TV
her
show,
in.
he's also doing that. Now I can tell you this, and I think we've all had dreams. My first job was working at Ponderosa, and I was a cook. And if you ever worked at Ponderosa, and I assume other steakhouse might be the same way, you just have tickets come. And I worked so much while in high school. I would have dreams of tickets just coming and coming and coming. I would wake up, turn the light on in my basement because that's where I slept. I'd look around, make sure that I'm not done, because you're dreaming about it. You know it's a dream, but you're scared that you're going to get fired if you don't do what you're supposed to. I'd wake up, I look around, I close it, I go right back to sleep and go right back to doing the same
You
thing.
know what? That reminds me of one thing. You ready? You ready? You're gonna know this. Time to make the donuts. Remember the
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts commercial? That guy, that was it, right? He would just think about making donuts, then his alarm would go, time to make the donuts. He'd get up, he'd go make the
Even
donuts.
after he retired, you know he was still saying it.
He was still saying, and I remember when I was a kid, I was like, man, this guy is such a hard worker. I remember telling my mom, I'm like, and she was like, no, he's an actor. I'm like, no, look at, he's tired. I didn't understand. I'm like, he makes all the donuts at Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, someone has to make it, right? It's
Yep.
not Oompa Loompas. So it's this dude.
It's
He's
amazing
making
what our
donuts.
parents know that we don't. Like, you think that he's actually making the donuts. Your mom's. I was convinced. I don't think I said it on this. I was convinced that Paul Simon, you can be my bodyguard. I was
Mhm.
convinced that Chevy Chase sang that, and my mom said that's not him singing it. It's this short guy. No, mom, look, I can see him singing it. I'm like, how do you know it's him? She's like,
He was
because
lip singing.
as a kid, I didn't know that. I mean,
No, I
I
get it.
wasn't even a teen yet, so
I mean, man, Chevy Chase. Oh man, he did some great movies back then, right? National Lampoon.
yep.
I always wanted to go to Wally World, and then I found out it wasn't even a real place. I was like, I want to go to Wally World. I was like, there is no Wally World.
The fear of
John
driving
Candy.
down the fear of driving down to Walt Disney World and then getting to the gates and
That's it.
finding out that they're closed. It sounds like a nightmare. Just saying.
I want to go too far up, but real quick, I had a story with my mom. When I was a kid, my mom got us tickets to go to Disneyland, and she was like, "Or is it Disney World, the one that's in Florida?" Right? We're coming
Yes,
from New
Disney
York, going to
World.
Florida. Disney World. All right. She was like, "All right, I got the tickets, the whole thing." Early in the morning, we pack up our suitcase. We already had them packed up. We just get everything into a cab. We head off to the airport. We get to the front. They said, "You can't board this flight." It's like, why? Because this is for tomorrow. We did all this prep work racing to get to the airport just to find out we were there on the wrong day, and we had to do it all over again the next day. Pain in the ass. But I always remember that because as a kid, I don't know, 7 or 8. I was so excited. I'm like, oh, go to Disney. This is it. She's excited. We were hyped, and then find out we were a day early.
That would be the
But
longest 24 hours ever.
oh yeah, I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't sleep because I was like, what if we mess up? What if they mess up? I remember telling them, what if they messed up? And the lady said, because how do we know she didn't get it wrong? And my mom was like, I don't know. I don't think she would lie to us. But there we go. There's my side story. All right, there we go. So Rothy goes out there. He finds the habitat. He starts banging on it. He's trying to get in. It opens up. And oh wait, before I get into it, now this was the part I was confused. I think this is why, even in my notes, a little mumbo jumbled. It was Mensa and Murderbot. Did they go into a little side room? Because then that's when they were able to protect themselves from the evil
Yeah,
sec
so
unit.
there's another room that they break into.
Mhm.
So this sec unit comes in just kind of guns a blazing, and they get into another room. Now, Rothy can hear like the guns going off. He can't figure out how to open up the door. Yeah, so they're in a separate room. sealed off, and then they end up blowing the door open.
So that's the question I had, and that's why I wouldn't even put question mark gun. Where did they get a weapon? Because she had the drill, she dropped it, and I don't know if the second
I
unit
think
had.
there was weapons in that room.
Okay, there was
Yeah,
weapons in the
she
room.
does pick up a weapon. So I think in that room there were weapons because we don't know what those people were doing. Remember what they're not on their
Yeah,
ship
yeah.
or anything or in their
Mhm.
quarters, whatever they are. So
Yeah,
we don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
what they were doing. And why did they have this bot rather than this unit rather than a cheap one, right?
the
This
second
one
unit.
is way more advanced.
Or what if they if I don't remember. Oh, I should have watched the last episode. Was that a match? I don't think that was a match to the down sec unit. When Murderbot first showed up in the last episode and he saw some of the sec units that were already damaged, he was like, "Oh, these two fought each other. Something must have happened. Some programming malfunction or whatever."
I
I
don't
think
think
they
so.
were similar to him. They didn't look like that
Yeah.
evil sec unit because we would have noticed this one really is distinct, which tells me this one was sent on a mission, right, to this location to do something, whether steal information
Yeah.
or just kill everyone there. Because then
Well,
that's what he was afraid of. That module was just he was like, oh, we'll get into it. Go for it.
but this is kind of why I think that we're watching the opening credits and we see a whole bunch of those bots coming down because in the opening credits we saw a bunch of these black sect units coming down and we see the people running like we see the crew running away from them. Like it's telling the story. Like I have a feeling when this is all said and done, we're gonna watch it and be like, there's the whole story. They told this whole story in the opening credits. I could be completely wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. You want to ask my ex? She'll tell you.
Hold on. Wait, she's jumping in now. Let's throw her on. Beep, boop. I was like, you're still talking smack about me on the internet? It's like, oh no. Oh boy. But
So we get
that's how they
some some really good stuff going on here because they blow the door, they come out, and here's Rothi who doesn't really know what to do,
no.
but he has
She's
his
like,
gun.
"What are you doing?" Mentor was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I'm here to save you. I'm here to help." Like,
Now before anything happens, they he does they are he the girls do tell him to not turn it up past half, I think half on the power, something like
yeah,
that.
they were telling him all the functions of the gun, and he was like, yeah, okay, whatever." Like
So we got the murder bot comes out and he comes chasing after him. I'm sorry, the sect unit comes
the
out
sec unit, the
and
evil sec unit.
the murder bot's saying, "Why is he missing them? This
Mhm.
doesn't make any
Yeah, it's a
sense."
horrible shot. Yep.
Yeah, and then he realizes that they're missing him on. He's missing him on purpose.
Mhm.
During this fray, Rothi does fire the gun and it belts him in the head because of
Yeah,
the
the recoil
recoil
of it. Yeah. Mhm.
and knocks him down. Knocks him out for a very short bit. But then Murderbot figures out the reason why he is doing this is because he wants him to murder them.
Yeah, the evil sec unit wants Murderbot to be the Murderbot and
Yeah.
to
So
kill them
then,
all. And one of the things that we didn't mention, because it comes up now, is that Arata, when she was talking with Pin Lee about like can they help after telling Rothie the whole thing, Arata says she has an idea, and then
yes,
that
and
plays up
that's
into
when she
this.
grabs
Yeah,
two Wii controllers.
right. Bringing it back. You see, it all goes back to Ghostbusters too. Remember, they had the Nintendo Advantage. Sorry, or was it Advantage? No, Advantage. I think it was called Advantage, and they used that to control the Statue of Liberty to go in. And there you go.
Did
You got
they?
we upgraded. Yeah, when they sprayed the goo inside the Statue of Liberty, and then they put the controller, the Nintendo Advantage controller, that was their own
I know
Nintendo
which one you're
Spy stick.
talking
It was a
about.
stick with the two buttons. They plugged that in, and that was enough to control the Statue
That
of Liberty
that
to go in.
controller, and I also had the small Advantage controller, but it had the turbo button, but it didn't
Yeah,
matter
that's super fun.
because some of these games they could only fire and kick or punch so fast. So it didn't matter.
But you didn't have to button mash. I used it for Kung Fu. Remember that?
That's the game that I was thinking of, Kung Fu.
Because that's all it was. It was punch and kick, punch and kick. Instead of just keep button mashing, I would just hold it down. That's it. Turn left, kick in the face, go here, pump, 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 jump kick, get an extra bonus. All right, there we go. But yeah, so you got evil sec unit. Looks like he's about to shoot Murderbot. Just put him down, right? That's what it looked like. And then all of a sudden, this thing, it's the hopper, but they use their own claw thing or magnet thing to
There's
suck
some
him
sort
up.
of, whether it was the landing gear, but I don't think it was. No, it was the land. I don't know if it was the landing gear. Whatever it was, it had a magnet on the bottom. That's what the controllers were.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny because not only do they stomp on it, they bring it up and they kind of keep smashing it together.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it sucks it up almost like a big magnet, then drops it, and then one of the landing legs for the hopper just like steps on it.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it was like a big giant mech or something at first when we first saw the thing like kind of pop out there. I thought it was like a big mech. And I'm like, where the hell did this mech come from? But then you realize that it's actually the ship or whatever. So then they do all kinds of damage to it and they drop it and then it lands and they come out all like super excited that they did this.
Super excited. But then the thing with Murderbot is that he's still telling himself it's like it's too late. And they was like, oh, it's already been done. And
then he grabs it, he rips it off and he does crush it, but he's like, the program's already been downloaded.
Man. Dun, dun, dun.
So as the way he's now looking at them, you see all this red. And he finally can kind of tell them, he's telling them like, you have to leave. And, we have Mensa who won't leave. And then finally, he's able to say, you need to kill me. If you don't, I'm going to murder you guys. But he also has control.
Would have been great if he would have said, I am Murderbot. I don't know. That would have been funny. I was like,
if Mensa would have been like, what are you? I'm Murderbot.
I just scream it out like real dramatic, Murderbot, and then just and cue some like Slayer. Drink the blood from the lamb. Oh boy!
All of a sudden, you see Tom Araya and Kerry King in the back,
right?
Playing the music.
Right?
I'm just gonna say, Seasons in the Abyss probably would have went perfect with that part of the. Anyway,
awesome.
So this is where we see like he has some control. He decides that if they're not going to kill me, then I can. And we can't say the word, or we're not supposed to. He can terminate himself.
He's terminating himself.
So he turns the gun on himself and terminates himself. The end.
And that's it. And then Apple announced that this is it. April Fool's, they got us all. There was only 4 episodes of this season. Thanks for watching. No. All right.
So there is one thing that we didn't even say. Garathan and Barada aren't even in this episode.
No.
So I have a feeling that we're going to see Garathan be able to.
It's gonna fix him.
He can link into and see what's going on, and then he'll know exactly what it is. And I have a feeling this is where we may see a little bit of a fight between Garathan and Mensa, even though he's clearly in this really, really weird love with her.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Gareth. I don't know what his agenda is. He definitely has weird fetishes. Something's going on with him. But yeah, I have a feeling, and we'll just get into this now of what we think is happening here. Clearly, Murderbot is not dead, right? That's take that off the table.
It'd be really interesting if they killed off the Murderbot.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have
but
more episodes.
Yeah. No, it's not
So
happening. But I have a feeling that, yeah, like you said, Garathan, I think that's his name. He's gonna fix him. He's going to use
yeah,
his augmented abilities, figure out what's going. It's not so much of the physical. It's like we just said, that override module, that code needs to be taken out. And if there's
yeah,
anybody on this crew that can do it, it's this guy.
yep.
And I think that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna go in there and mess
But
around and figure this out.
so what I think is going to happen, in all honesty, is I can continue to mention about having multiple of these black bots, and just so you guys know, we haven't watched ahead, so we have no idea.
No, we're not watching that.
We are as clueless as any of you guys are, and I don't know. Maybe the books say,
Oh, no,
maybe the people who read the book they already know.
most of our subs have read the books
Yeah,
and they are not clueless. They are laughing at us right now. They're like, look at these people stumble around this story.
so
But
yeah,
that's fine.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to start seeing that there's more of them, then they know they have to kind of fix them and activate them again. So, and maybe when they do that, they make him more advanced. Who knows?
Oh,
But I'm
wow,
interested
that's
because
going. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. I This is such an interesting show because we do get to see Sanctuary Moon.
Oh
So we're
man,
seeing a TV
I
show
want that
inside a
show.
TV show.
I
I
want
love
that show.
seeing how the sect units are made, where they're made, the stuff that they take into account when they're making them. So I'm really excited to see that section of stuff. It's something completely different.
No, it definitely is. But man, it's like there's so much going on in this show, and it's upsetting that this is my main gripe. It's so short. It's
22
22
minutes.
minutes, and it's even less because that's including the intro and the
Yep.
credits. So it's very short, but I'm sure that's by all this is by design because then
Oh
it,
yeah.
it makes you want to keep watching it. It's like, oh, I want to see what happens next. Well, you gotta tune in next week. Same bat channel, same bat time, that type of deal. And that's it. But man, it's like we're left with more questions.
Yeah, and
And
again, definitely entertaining. But yeah, I don't
yeah,
really have
no.
anything else to say. What about you?
That's it. No, that's it, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in, for watching our coverage for Murderbot season 1, episode 4. It was good. It was good. I enjoy it. I like the
I
story. I like where it's going.
I like this episode a lot because, like I said, we're not just finding this. We're not just excuse me. We're not just watching this sect unit come after them. We're seeing this like everything is going on at the same time. Him
Mhm.
still going back into his whole TV world, and then we're seeing the crew kind of come together to protect one another.
Oh, I'll tell you this much. 100% guaranteed. This is my prediction. This will once he comes back, once Gareth fixes him up, he's 100% part of the crew because
Yeah,
he rather kill himself or put himself down than harm anyone on the crew. That's the ultimate proof. And I felt like we've seen that with Data in Next Generation. Remember, there's
yeah,
plenty of characters over the seasons that did not trust him. Oh, he's an android. Really? We're not doing this, a synthetic. And then he wins them over in the end. So
yes,
I see that clearly here, and that's great. And next, if they make a season 2, we'll just see Murderbot in the front next to Mensa and all the whole crew, and they have their own version of Sanctuary Moon, and they go on adventures doing who knows what, because I'm still not sure exactly what they're doing besides surveying the land for something.
yeah. They will all. Well, I'll be interested to see what they're really doing there. But I think that wraps
Yeah,
everything up.
that's
Please,
it.
if you're
Mhm.
still here, hit the like button,
Thank you.
hit that subscribe button. It is huge for us, um, and everything. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. And then just, keep commenting. Let us know what you think. Please, no spoilers. We know a lot of you guys read the books. That's great. Right. But you see where we're at. But if you can contribute little things here and there that you think would help
Yes.
out, maybe flesh out the story, like what we were just talking about with the humans that have to commit that amount of time. What do you have to do? What is it? Do you owe taxes or I don't see these two that they introduce these humans as murderers, so
Yeah,
it's got to be
like I
something
said,
else.
I'm sure the book explains why they're indentured servants
Yeah.
way more than the show, because the showrunners are
Oh, yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah.
they don't need to know.
They got to
Like,
keep
that's
it
not
moving. They
really
got to keep
hard.
it moving. Yeah, they have to keep it moving. They
Right.
don't have time to dwell on all of it. I mean, I thought it was just a job. It just makes sense. It's like there's people that are hired to make these things, and no different than an iPhone, right? There we go.
Yep.
All right,
Now we're
everybody.
finding out it's like people that make license plates.
You see that? Oh, there you go. All right, everybody. Thanks again. And again, you can check out the other shows over on the channel that we have here. We have Mobland, and of course, we just finished The Last of Us, and we got a few other shows in the pipeline for this summer.
Oh,
So
that's what I wanted. We mentioned about reviewing our first movie. The reason why we did not do Fountain of Youth is because, unfortunately, Apple wasn't able to get it to us in time, or maybe there was a glitch. I'm not sure, but we didn't have it. That's the only
a
reason
timing
why we
thing.
didn't do it. We were really looking
Yeah.
forward to it. So
We'll still do something. We had an idea of a few other ones, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, and we'll get that up there. But yeah, thanks again, everybody. Thanks for
right.
subscribe. Peace.
Take care.